So the one thing that they just do not tell you about being a business owner, well, we've got 5 today.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones that they do not tell you about being a business owner is the demand for more, the constant mental load of just wanting more, of that tiny little dopamine hit once you hit your goal, and it quickly just goes because you're ready for the next goal. And I remember I was living in Mexico when I started my business, and I literally was just saying to myself, just want to earn £800 a month. I just want to earn £800 a month. It will keep me out here. It will pay for my rent. It will pay for my food. I'll be so, so grateful. So grateful. I hit 800. I then go for 1,200. I'm like, oh, that, like, great. I can go out and eat every day. I'll be sound. Hit that. 2 grand. And I've never ever actually earned 2 grand in my life in a month, because even at my old job, it was only about 1,500, 1,700 if I was doing overtime. And I was here earning 2 grand, working like 4 hours a day. And I'm thinking, like, this is the life for me, you know? But that 2 grand quickly became like nothing. And I was like, right, 3 grand. Hit 3 grand, and I did celebrate. I was like, woo, hit 3 grand. Then I was like, no, I want 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're just going and going and going, and no one teaches you or tells you how to manage the mental load of always wanting more and how to really just be grateful. I'm constantly like, the gratitude that I used to have of the 800s and the 1000s is not the same gratitude I have now when I hit a higher income.
Yeah.
I'm just on to the next. And I'm so aware that I'm like that. And you have to try and train yourself out of it. I've not mastered it at all. I do celebrate all of my wins now. I went through a stage of just not celebrating anything. And I was like, great, cool, like on to the next. But I do celebrate my wins now, because I need those wins to last longer than a quick dopamine hit and then on to the next, you know? It's a mental battle of that constantly, like, cool, but where's the next?
Yeah.
Where's my next goal, and how am I going to hit it?
It's weird because it's just like, it just genuinely never stops. And I've been in business now for like 8 years. And since the very start, it's always been, okay, next thing. And you never just stop and like think, wow, I've actually done really well. So again, I'm the same now.
Like,
I
wow.
do try and actually celebrate my wins and think, oh, okay, like I don't necessarily have like hard, like set in stone goals and things, but like if I do have a provisional kind of goal and I meet it, then I do try and celebrate that. But it never stops. Like for service-based businesses, we kind of all know that the infamous 10k a month is where everybody wants to get to. And like, I mean, to make 10k a month is just insane. It's so good. Like, obviously there's not a lot of people that would be able to do that.
It's insane.
It's insane, but
earning 10k a month is insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, not many people, sorry to butt in.
Yeah.
Like, if we actually do 10k a month, not many people earn that. But it's all
especially
over social media, and it's all just chucked around like,
yeah,
it makes number 10 at our age.
Yeah, it actually makes it, because we're so immersed, or especially I am very immersed in like seeing the social media, like watching the people say, oh, 10k a month is where you want to get to, but I'm following people that are doing like 50, 60, 70. So I'm like, oh, my 10k a month is shit, because you're always looking at, but this person's got more, and like comparison is the thief of joy here, but like you can't compare yourself to obviously people that are at that point, and you do need to be grateful for like, wow, 10k a month is insane, obviously. And when you do e-commerce, you have a lot more costs and things associated, so it's very different. But when we hit like 34k, the first month that I did over 30k in our in my e-com business, when we were in the first year of business, I was like, whoa, this is insane. And it was great. But then that month was like, we worked with like Misguided, and we did a really big video for them, and they have a lot of followers. So it inevitably pushed us up a bit. We had like a post that went really viral. And then afterwards, obviously, it inevitably did drop. And then like, as soon as you drop, like you're still doing, we did 34k, we went down to 29k. And I was like, that's bad. That's not very good. And it's like, well, no, it is, but because you've reached that now, you've made the level is up here, and now you're down to 5k below it, even though you're still turning over 29k in your e-commerce business at 20 years old. That's insane. But like at that point when you're so deep in it, whereas like now as an older person, I can look back and be like, that was silly for me to feel that way. But at that time, I was like, oh, it's so annoying. Like, can't believe it's gone down. But you're still doing so well. So I think, yeah, it's hard to like deal with all of those different things and like have all of the outside kind of people doing all of these amazing influence, doing all these amazing numbers and crazy numbers. And also, get it twisted, you do not know that they're doing those numbers. You don't know for sure. Most of them probably aren't. But that's a story for another day.
Absolutely. Or they're twisting it. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't feed too much into it anymore because I really don't sit on social media. I don't do any form of anything for my business. As you know, I actually grow my business totally off of social media. And I definitely think there's actually a niche where I could probably go in and support people in doing that. But that's for another episode and another time. But I totally grow my business off of social media now. The clients that I have moving forward are not going to come from social media. In all honesty, 95% of my clients that I've ever had have never been on through social media. And I think actually it's a bit of a time waster sometimes. But anyway, on to the next topic. That complete like demand for more is so strong, especially if you are feeding into what everybody else is doing around you.
Yeah, and definitely.
I know someone not very close, but I know that people are connected to other people, and someone's, you know, gone on Instagram and shouted about their first 100k month. That same month, they've had to let their team go. So do not listen to what social media, you know, she may have made 100k, but she can't run her business that well because she's had to let her team go. Go. So it's great to shout about the funds, but it actually means nothing. It means literally nothing. The next one, while I actually have my hand on my head, is how many hats you have to wear as a business owner.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
I mean, every business that you run, you do have to. But I think service-based businesses, you probably a little bit less because you're not doing your customer service. You also, like you said, you don't need to do your social media. Let's take an e-commerce business, for example. You are the customer service rep. You're the person that's uploading the product listings. You're doing the social media. You're doing the ads for yourself, maybe. You're doing everything. And it's just funny because you'll reply to the emails and be like pretending to be some big team, but you're not. It's just you. You are every person, literally. And I'm sure I could think of so many more. You're the bookkeeper, you're not the accountant because you need to get someone proper to do that. But at first, you're doing everything. You're like managing your finances, making like long-term decisions. You're the marketing extension of your business. You are the website developer. Like, you're everything. And I think that you don't think about actually how many things that go into running a business. And I mean, in the service-based business, we still have a lot of different things that we do. And like, right now we're in a different position. Like, we've got people that work with us, but even take it back to about a year ago now, or not even a year ago, probably like 8 months ago, before I started like hiring for my team, I was just doing everything myself, and I was still at a very good level doing everything myself. And I think I could sustain doing 10k a month completely on my own. Definitely could if I would just manage my time very, very well. But it's not sustainable because I wouldn't be able to grow the business. I would literally just be like stuck at that level in the business and not be able to grow it. But like, there's still so many hats to wear. There's like, you need to like find clients, do outreach. If you do social media, you need to do your social media. If you are fulfilling the service, you're also doing service fulfillment. Like, there is so many parts to every.
And you actually have to fulfill the service as well.
Yeah, literally. Then you are doing that yourself, and that
you actually have to do the work for the client.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's what I was doing like 8 months ago, and then I thought like, no, because the thing is, a client could just message you at any time, like, oh, this has happened. And then if you've got this much client work to do, you'll also need to down do this bit. And like, maybe I'm not the best at time management, but I would just be like, whoa, there's too much to do, while still needing to work on the business, while creating content that is going to bring clients, while doing outreach that's going to bring clients. All of those things you can't do alongside everything else. So you just don't realize how many elements there actually is.
Yeah. You can't work in your business whilst simultaneously trying to work on your business.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's actually something that I said to a client the other day. You can't scale this. You can't scale your business if you are working in the business. And that is exactly why people hire business managers, FYI. But Like, you really need to be able to step away at some
Yeah.
point and go, right, I need to be doing this, this, and this. I honestly, when I first started this, little old Amy in Mexico in her apartment, if I knew what I knew now, I actually don't know whether I would have continued the journey.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I do not regret where I am now. But if little old Amy, that knew only about 40% of what I know now, was told that she would have to somehow become this person, I would have been so overwhelmed. I would have been like, no, I can't do that. But I went into it quite naively. I just started working
Oh,
for
same.
clients. I started finding some other clients. And then every month something new would come up where I'd have to do the bookkeeping, or I'd have to start trying to figure out how to market myself. And that's when I realized that, I actually really don't like being on social media. I really don't like that side of things. It's actually crazy how much you have to do. And bookkeeping is one of the most frustrating things.
So
I hate
tedious.
bookkeeping. I hate it so much. I don't know how my does it for his business. It annoys the hell out of me. Numbers on a spreadsheet, actually, like, I can feel my insides getting hot.
I know,
Like, I'm
yeah.
burning inside just looking at the spreadsheets. I hate it so much. But it's the one thing that we all strive for. We're striving for the money at the end of the day. We're doing the business for the money. But as soon as it comes down to invoicing and bookkeeping, I cannot be bothered to do it. Ironic is that. I've been with people before, like, at a networking event or whatever, and they'll say, like, oh, sometimes I don't even invoice my clients 2 months and get the 2 months because I just can't be bothered to do it. And I'm thinking,
Oh
the
my
reason that you're
gosh.
doing this work is to get paid.
No.
So why are you waiting for this? Invoicing is a thing freelancers just hate doing, and I get it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is
So yeah,
long.
the amount of hats that you have to wear and the overwhelm, very, very long.
Yeah.
I think moving on to the third one, and it's something that I did speak about a lot on my socials when I was doing social media, foundations. Sometimes I'll just invoice them. Always, it's foundations, foundations, foundations. Whether it is
Yeah.
foundations in your business as a coach, it's foundations in your business as an ecom brand, foundations, whatever it is. If you do not have your foundations in place at the start, you will make so many mistakes that didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I can vouch for
And
that
some of
100%.
these things are all your legal notes, your contract, your NDA, your procedures, your systems. We can definitely go into talking about systems here, Kira, can't we?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like, I have felt the wrath of not having those things because it was literally just before we went into COVID, anyways. That's 4 years ago. So, yeah, like when I was like 20 years old and I just started doing my like customs, when we went into lockdown is basically the first year that I did that properly and I set it up as its own business. Before I was just kind of doing it a little bit. But anyway, when we did that, we grew so quickly that there was actually no possible way for me to put any systems in because it went from 8k a month to 28k a month. And I was like, you have to think about how many pairs of shoes that is. That's like 150 probably pairs of shoes extra. And I was one person. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? So immediately I'm like, I need staff. I need people to help me. I like employed my sister, employed my friend. I'm like, come, we need to get this done. And because of that, like, absolute spiral, and we will touch on in another episode, we'll touch on actually growing too fast is very detrimental to business. And I massively felt that with that business, but it was insane. And because of that, there was no time for systems. There was no time for actually, like, you should have a systemized training for when you are taking on new people. Like, there should be training documents. There should be things that they need to do, things that they need to complete. There was none of that. I was like, right, you get on the shoe. I'm going to talk you through it. Do this, do this, do this. And there was absolutely none of it. And then you get past the point of like, you can't go back. You get past the point of no return. So it was almost just like, everything just spiraled massively and it never went back to 8k a month. It then consistently was at over 25k a month and there was no going back or like think I didn't have time to sit down and lay foundations and think about right because I wasn't even anticipating it to get as big as it did. So I was never anticipating like needing to hire so quickly or anything like that, and we'll talk more on that shortly. But there was absolutely no systems and no foundations in that business, and it absolutely was the reason why in the end, well, I mean, I say that, but we couldn't continue because like wasn't letting us buy the amount of shoes that we needed. But even if it had continued, it would have continued pretty systemless, because you go past that point and it's very hard to put in systems when people are already used to working a certain way. They're used to things being a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
it was a nightmare. Whereas, and then when I
Yeah.
started my new business, I absolutely knew, like, the first thing I need to do is have systems in place. Like, we've got onboarding systems, we've got systems with meetings with clients, we've got creative systems, we've got all of these different systems for different parts of the business and automations and stuff like that. Anyway, this isn't my strong point, clearly. So you speak more about kind of like how you help other businesses with that, because for business owners, like entrepreneurs, especially really
Well,
creative
you know
people, it can be
what?
really hard.
It's crazily hard. And actually, one of the biggest things that I do is I come in and I clean up. That's the first thing that I usually
I
have to
come
come in.
in and I
I
clean
do
up.
go in, clean up, figure it out, whip it all up. And half the time, yeah, like one of the things that founders and business owners don't want to do that they absolutely need to do, and they
Yeah,
need to find their foundations, and they need to have their procedures, they need to have their SOPs, they need to have everything in place so that they can scale. And quite a lot of the time, as business managers and anyone listening, you will have had a client like this at one point, where you are running behind them, trying to keep it all straight and narrow whilst they move up and scale. And that comes with a lot of things. That comes with how creative they are. That comes with what they enjoy doing. And, you know, some people really just don't want to do the boring, mundane stuff, which is systems, which is SOPs. You absolutely need someone in your business to be doing that. And if you don't, then there is, honestly, I will say there is 100% chance that your business is going to fail at one point, or there's 100% chance that you're not going to scale past a certain point,
yeah,
because you physically will not be able to move forward without making so many mistakes and having a team that do not know what they're doing, that you will end up making huge mistakes in your business. You'll end up ruining your reputation, because an organized back end is a successful front end. That's
yeah,
the only way that I
for
can really put
sure.
it. And it's the most boring thing. It's like bookkeeping. No one wants to do it, hire for it. No one wants to do systems. No one wants to do any of that, hire for it. Why would you spend all of your valuable time inside the back end of a business when you should be at the front end of your business? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever walked into a single business and it's been perfect and I've just been able to take over as their business manager from another business manager. I've never done it. I've always had to go in and you have to clean up and you have to figure it out, because most of the time people work with me because they've not done it at the start. They've not done
Yeah,
it. They've got to a point, like bookkeeping as well. You don't do books for a year and then you think, really can't be asked to do
yeah,
this. I'm going to go and
wow.
get a bookkeeper to then try and whip it all up in a couple of hours. It's
Yeah,
literally like that. And they're the two things that I really think I might be, I'm a business manager and my partner's a bookkeeper. So I see those two as a very pivotal parts of a
no,
business,
I
but they
think that
actually
is
are.
so right. They are.
And no one warns you about it. So here is your warning. Get a business manager or use the project management tools. Get competent people inside your business that know what they're doing so that you can focus and be competent in your area, because we don't have strengths everywhere. I'll admit it, my spelling is horrific. It's horrific. I don't really have a strength with big, long words. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
genuinely not that person. So I'm not going to go out and be a copywriter. Strategically I can help with like decks and stuff and proposals, but I'm not actually going to sit there and write a landing page for you,
yeah,
because there would be so many spelling mistakes in there. Luckily we have ChatGPT now, so I
yeah.
never make a
Or
spelling mistake. So I
Grammarly.
run everything
Yeah,
everything through there before I post or do anything. Or yeah, Grammarly. But if someone actually asked me to do a writing test, I guarantee you that probably about 40% of it would be spelling mistakes. All my Google searches, most of them is, how do you spell X? How do you spell this? So yeah, that's another thing that they don't warn you about. So foundations, how many hats you wear, and the constant demand that you just want more. I think the next thing is family and friends and yourself. No one really warns you about who the person you're going to turn out to be. No one
Yeah.
warns you that
Yeah.
unintentionally you are going to go on such a self-development journey that you are going to come out a totally different person. No one tells you that really until you're just like knee deep in it and you're like, oh wow, I'm doing outer work, I'm doing inner work, trying to look after my mental health, trying to figure out who I want to be whilst also now running a business.
Yeah.
Friends and family, I've been very blessed with the fact that all of my friends have been so supportive, all of my family have been so supportive. But I do think that if you are in the wrong friendship group or you're in the wrong crowd, and I would say wrong, they are the wrong crowd, because if you aren't with people that support your journey or support you in change or anything like that, and they start, you go down the pub every weekend and then you start not wanting to go down the pub and they start having a go at you because you don't want to go down the pub, or they start saying, we don't see you anymore. And, they don't promote what you want to do and they don't support that, then they are the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
And luckily, I've not been in that. I've got very supportive friends, but I can also see from if you are in the wrong crowd and you start saying wins about, earning 10K a month, 20K a month, and you're with people that don't support that, I can see it getting very hostile and very jealous run, and
Yeah.
family as well. Like, I think I've probably now proven to them that I have a very successful business. But I think for the first couple of years, I think it was definitely, oh, Amy's doing her thing
I
again,
think I'm in the exact
and
same.
just there
Yeah.
wasn't much.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like they've always supported me, but I don't think they realized that I was serious about this. I think that they literally just thought that it was going to be another little like Amy scheme to try and make some money. Because I'll be honest, I've tried pretty much everything, because I didn't understand the online world, but I knew I wanted to make money online. I remember Googling when I was about 14, like how to make money online, and I'll do all the little surveys and stuff and never make any money from it, and then just slowly fell into the right thing.
I think it's similar as well. Like, my dad is in business anyway, so he has always had a massive belief that I could be in business. I think my other side of my family just kind of thought like, oh, all right, like, yeah, whatever. Like, I would talk to them about it and they'd just be a bit like, okay, like, I don't know what they thought it
Yeah.
was or what they like, I don't know. They never really asked me about it or anything. But I think now when I see them, they actually are like, oh, so she's 25
No.
now. So it must be a thing. Like, she must actually be doing it quite well. So now they actually are like, oh, like, how's it going? And someone will ask me, and now it's more of like, oh, it's actually serious. Because I guess when you're really young, like, they don't really take much serious anyway. Probably thinking that the jobs that you have, you're probably not going to have forever and whatever. But I've never had anyone not support me, and I think I've been quite lucky, and like, sounds like you've been quite lucky in that sense, where I think a lot of people get into business and their family, like their mum and dad, might be like, oh no, it's too risky and things like that. And like, one thing I'll say about that is that you can't listen to advice from anybody that's not done what you're wanting to do. So like, if your parents haven't built a business, do not listen to them telling you can't build a business. But I'm really glad to have not had to experience any of that, because if I did, I would have been like, please be quiet.
Do you know what? Never listen to advice from somebody that is not doing better than you, because why would you take advice from someone or listen to anyone's opinions if they are not on the same path, or they're not in the same kind of journey as you and they're not doing better than you? Like, why would you listen?
Yeah.
And I think I actually did have a parent that I don't live with. Anyone that's listened who knows me will know what parent this is, who did rock the boat for me at one point, but it was very swiftly brushed under the carpet by my other parent and my step parent,
Oh, yeah.
So there was more of like, no, you can do this, don't listen. Whereas if I had
Yeah,
both
that's,
parents doing
yeah.
that, possibly, I would have. I'm very, very lucky that there is one parent that supports me in everything I do, even
Yeah.
though definitely you are one of six, you are one of five that you hang around with, whatever that saying is. And you've got to be very careful about who you hang around with, I think, as
Yeah.
well. When you start to grow and the people that you're hanging around with aren't growing, you do start to move away from them, just, by accident, because instead of going out on the Saturday night, you want to go to the gym, or instead of going out on a Friday night you want to stay in and you want to do a little bit of work, or you want to work on your business, or you want to do something, and they just don't understand, and you just start getting a bigger and bigger gap. And I don't necessarily say that that's kind of like a bad thing on your friends, as long as they're supportive, but you will start having less and less things in common, less and less conversations. It's hard to have conversations with people that don't understand what you're doing or don't understand business, because 95% of the things that I talk about on a daily basis and I talk about with my partner is business.
Yeah.
That is all we talk about. We don't actually have anything else that's our common ground. We have loads of other things in common, but like we just love it to bounce off of each other, and they're the kind of conversations you want to leave and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I've just had some insane. So you kind of find new friends, don't you, online or at networking events, and you just start having more conversations with them. I think the last one that we can both definitely relate to is finding people, firing people, and managing people.
Yeah.
I never in my wildest dreams thought, one, I would ever hire someone, two, I would ever fire someone,
Same.
and three, that I would ever have to manage someone. And it still feels surreal now.
Yeah.
It's a journey
It
in
is.
itself,
It
isn't
is.
it? And I think you've got quite a lot to talk about on your side, definitely.
The thing is I've learned a lot of lessons in my first business. So a lot of these things I'm reverting back to. Okay, when in my last business, I had to fire, kind of. Yeah, I had to fire. And it wasn't easy. None of it is easy. Hiring is very hard, because it's very hard to find somebody that's going to understand like your vision and like everything like that. And do you know what? Now in my current business, there's just me and two other people. And one of them is very much like not too involved in the business. She just like runs one of the services that we provide for clients. She just does that. And then my kind of like my main guy that I work with, he is just the best. He is like, I couldn't ever have even imagined getting a better employee. And that is one of the biggest blessings that I've had in this business for sure, because really, really great people to work with make your life in business and your business so much easier. I can't even tell you how much having a good employee will impact your business scalability wise, just like for you to enjoy it. And just everything about it is made easier by working with really great people. And I think before, when I was obviously a lot younger, all of the people that worked with me were great. But it was my management skills were not there. I was not good at managing people, but I was also 21 years old, and it just wasn't a skill that came naturally to me. And to be honest, even now, like, I'm not a very assertive person. I'm probably not the like managing kind of type. I don't think that's probably one of my personality traits, that I would be a great manager. I think the guy that works with me now, he's also very independent, which does make it a lot easier. He knows what needs to be done, and I don't need to micromanage him or anything. We just work together really, really well. We're just almost like equals. He doesn't work below me. We are just like equals. It makes all the difference.
I think that that's the beauty of being a good manager, though. You see them as equals.
Yeah.
My VA is like my lifeline, honestly.
Yeah.
And the reason that I think we've been working together for so long is like, I trust what she says. She's very attentive. And if you saw our WhatsApp chats, I'm apologizing to her more than like, she never apologizes to me because she never does anything wrong. But I'm always like, oh, sorry, yeah, I'm wrong. She's always, not even by purpose, but she's always calling me out, you know, like she'll go, but didn't they say this? And I think, oh, yeah, you're like, yeah, they did. And honestly, that's what's having like a great VA, a great somebody like working by you that doesn't just go, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know, they've been like, oh no, I'm involved in this business. I know I did that yesterday, so that can't be right. I'm going to say something to them instead of being a yes man.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of times, if she had just said yes to me, if I'd asked her to go and do something, and she didn't question me because I was a bad manager, and every time she thought that she'd ask me a question, I would like have a go at her, or I'd make her feel stupid, or I'd be like, why are you asking me? If you are that type of manager, you are going to get yes men, yes women, VAs and people that are not going to find little cracks in your business and help you solve them.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And I think that's the perfect, you need to find them. I think the only time where you would feel like a corporate manager where you're having to have a go at people and stuff is if you hire the wrong people. Hire competent people. Hire people that have got a track record in what they're doing. Also trust their expertise. Don't bring them on as the expert and then micromanage the hell out of them and make them feel as though you're hiring them because you don't know what to do, or you're hiring them because you don't want to do it. Well, let them go and do it, you know? But I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would ever be like managing a business. I just thought it would be little old me and a few clients. But actually now I've got a team of 2. I'm having team meetings. I'm going through clients with them. I'm talking about different things and making sure that everything's done, checking up on them, but then also just checking up on them. You know, how are you? It really does go a long way. And I've got clients who do it all the time. They actually just check in with me, like, how are you? And I'm just, it's nice. It's nice to know that you're not just that little thing working away in the background, that they actually care about you and makes you want to work with them, makes you want to do the best. But yeah, I think they don't know what you never warned about. Oh, firing, oh my goodness.
No, that's the
That's
worst
a tough one. And I mean,
part of, I swear, it's awful.
yeah. If I had recorded my firing conversation, there'd be a lot of ums, ahs, and
for sure.
explanation. I am someone who I don't like. To be fair, I only had to do it a few times. Sometimes it's not even for my own business, you know.
Oh, well, you have to fire for other people.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of ums, ahs, and I have had to be in that position where I've had to. I don't do it much now. I kind of refuse to do it because I think at the
I'd
end
be
of the day, that's
refusing to do
the
that as
CEO's
well.
job.
Yeah, firing is not easy, and I think it's actually made
the CEO's job.
That definitely is. Firing can be a lot harder as well. This is one thing that I felt from my other business. And to be honest with you, I didn't actually have to fire anyone from my other business, but, well, one person, but that was just, It's really hard. I think it's different for us where we're remote. But it's really hard when you see someone every day, you make a really, really good, close relationship with them, and then you have to fire them. I cannot tell you how hard that is. And I know from like my friends that are business owners, like my friend just had to fire someone as well, and she was absolutely dreading it. She's like, she's so nice, like, and it's like you essentially are friends with this person, like you see them every day, you spend so much time with them, you spend more time with them than you do with your family and your friends, and then you've got to fire them, and it is not a nice feeling at all. I would say that is one of probably the hardest things in business. I genuinely, I hate it.
It really is. I don't think that there's no training on it either, is there?
No, absolutely nothing to help you. Just go on YouTube, how to fire someone. I don't even know if there's stuff on there.
I mean, we're coming up to 50 minutes on this podcast, but I feel like this podcast was a little bit juicy. I feel like we've really dived into the 5 things that they do not tell you as a business owner. So I think that's a wrap up, really.
That is, but don't let it put you off.
Absolutely love.
But don't let it put you off being an entrepreneur. Don't
let it put you off at all. I think I would really love for you to come into the DMs. Let us know what is something in your everyday life now you think I was never told that I would have to do this. Come and tell us.
Yeah.
Let us know, and we can all just be business owners together.